Today's episode is brought to you by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Calling all foodies, Bush's is hiring. Are you passionate about food, looking for growth, development, and excellent wages? Come grow with Bush's and apply online at bushes.com/join our team. That's Bush's, BUSCHS.com/join our team.
From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Emma Stein with today's Free Press Voice Briefing. It's Monday, September 5th, 2022.
I'm Dave Boucher with the Detroit Free Press. In Michigan, all roads on abortion access lead to the state Supreme Court, and all sides of the issue want the court to take up their legal qualms sooner rather than later. Access, enforcing a 1931 criminalization law, and potentially amending the Michigan Constitution to expressly guarantee the right to an abortion are all legal questions pending before the court. The 4 Democrats and 3 Republicans on the 7-person Michigan Supreme Court have yet to officially weigh in on abortion legality since the U.S. Supreme Court reversed the landmark Roe v. Wade decision in June. Whatever the court decides, it will impact abortion access in the state for years to come. Supporters of an abortion right amendment want to change the Michigan Constitution to include language that expressly protects the right to an abortion. But a printing snafu led to a challenge from anti-abortion advocates, who argue the proposed amendment lacks spaces between words and is essentially gibberish. The 2 Republican members of the Michigan Board of State Canvassers appeared to agree, voting on Wednesday against certifying the proposal for the ballot. Amendment advocates filed suit in the Michigan Supreme Court on Thursday, asking it to reverse the deadlocked board and put the issue to voters. The court needs to act soon. Ballots must be set by the end of this week. This challenge may ultimately be more important than 2 lawsuits filed in an effort to nix a 1931 law that criminalizes all abortions but those performed to save the life of a pregnant person. Planned Parenthood of Michigan and Governor Gretchen Whitmer filed separate lawsuits before Roe's reversal, asking different courts to deem that law unconstitutional and to decide the Michigan Constitution already protects the right to an abortion. In the Planned Parenthood case, a court of claims judge issued an order in May that appeared to bar all prosecutors from enforcing the law. But in August, the Court of Appeals opined that order doesn't actually apply to prosecutors. Both Planned Parenthood and conservative prosecutors have asked the Michigan Supreme Court to take up this case. The Court of Appeals decision prompted Whitmer to act on her own lawsuit. She'd previously asked the Michigan Supreme Court to take up her case using a special power reserved for governors called the Executive Message Authority that essentially lets her skip to the head of the legal line. But the Michigan Supreme Court has yet to act. While she waits, Whitmer used the lawsuit to get an Oakland County judge to issue another order blocking prosecutions in the 13 Michigan counties with abortion clinics. Conservative prosecutors have vowed to appeal that ruling in a case that also appears destined for the High Court.
I'm Adrienne Roberts reporting for the Detroit Free Press. Michigan's economy has gone through a lot of upheaval in the last 2.5 years. The pandemic decimated the state's economy, and while the economy recovered relatively quickly, its impact caused lasting changes to the labor market. Add fears of a recession and inflation, which are top of mind for many job seekers and employers today, and you have a state job market that is a mixed bag. Some industries can't get enough workers, while others are slowing down their hiring plans or reducing their headcounts. 2 of the state's largest company, General Motors and Ford, have either backed off aggressive hiring plans for this year, that's in the case of GM, or in Ford's case, reduced its white-collar workforce by thousands as part of a plan to restructure its operations. Yet other sectors, like healthcare and the restaurant industry, are desperate for workers.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, recapping the opening weekend in college football around these parts. We first have to go back to Friday night in East Lansing, where Michigan State kicked off the 2022 season with a 35-13 win over Western Michigan. It was a bit of an uneven night for the MSU offense, but the defense was stout, collecting 7 sacks, 4 of which by transfer Jacoby Windman. Then on Saturday at the Big House, Michigan had no problem with Colorado State, 51-7. The big news out of that game, of course, the quarterbacks. Cade McNamara, last year's starter all the way through the Big Ten championship season, wasn't particularly sharp, going 9 of 18 for 136 yards and a touchdown. J.J. McCarthy, who will start next week against Hawaii, was 4 for 4 for 30 yards and ran for another 50 and a touchdown.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Have a great Labor Day, and we'll see you tomorrow.